So as we predicted, Apple is sticking to its traditional release cycle with their betas with a 2-week gap in between the first beta and the second one. And we are back with iOS 18.5 Beta 2 just being released to developers. If you missed the video or didn't hear about what actually went on in the initial beta, there was not a lot here as far as new functionality. There's some UI tweaks, but it is pretty tame to say the least. With iOS 19 right around the corner, this could be the last major update to iOS 18. So let's go ahead, take a quick look at the build number and see how close we are to actually this release going public. Let's go. Okay, so iOS 18.5 Beta 2 just finished installing on our iPhone 16 Pro Max, and it came in with a download size of a little over 1 gig. Pretty typical, nothing crazy here. Let's go ahead and do our typical temp check because we did have quite a bit of heating issues in Beta 1, and as you can see here, it's still running pretty warm from this update. Again, no surprise necessarily in regards to the update itself, but with regards to daily usage, it has been significantly hot. But let's go ahead and jump right into this and take a look at what we see here in Beta 2. First things first, let's jump into settings, general, general, and about. 18.5 now has a build of 22F5053F. So the F is going to signify we are still a few betas away from a public release. If you're familiar with betas or are new to them, what this means is the closer the letter at the end of the build number is to an A or a B, the closer we are to actually getting that public release. And first thing I want to test out from the last beta is the touch sensitivity, because we were having quite a bit of issues with our touch sensitivity in Beta 1. It looks like right now everything seems to be working pretty well. Nothing really standing out or craziness. Let's just jump into the Stocks app. And yeah, everything's actually working okay at the moment. So that's good to see, and everything is pretty snappy at that. We did experience some battery drain in Beta 1. Hopefully that will be improved here. It's not unexpected with a first beta, but usually, unfortunately, historically, with how Apple's been recently, Beta 1's had the better battery life in the beta cycle up until about Beta 4, so I'm anticipating seeing a little bit of a drop-off here in Beta 2. So, really just jumping around and going back into settings and looking around, even under Apple Intelligence, I'm not anticipating seeing anything new here at all. Again, it seems like a lot of the resources for this beta have been kind of put on hold and refocused on iOS 19 to get everything straight in the land of Apple. Well, basically just because of how many issues everyone has been having with 18.4 and all of that. But beyond this, if you missed what was new in the initial beta for iOS 18.5, they added new languages. Japan and New Zealand got the satellite connectivity feature here. We are still also seeing this control center. I guess you can call it a bug, or although at this point it might actually be a feature, as Apple likes to say. You can see the cellular connectivity in Control Center does not match exactly to what your service actually is. So it's not reflecting one-to-one, unfortunately. Although if you look at the actual whole control panel here, you can see it does reflect correctly still under cellular data in that grid. So a little interesting to see why it's still not matching one-to-one. Maybe that's just how Apple's going to design it, but just wanted to let you know how that is as it stands. We also did get those mail contact photos that you can edit as you might want here. You can see right here, you can show contact photos or turn it off. Just totally up to you. A lot of companies aren't utilizing it still, so keep that in mind. If you don't want to take up room, you can turn that off. That was always a thing you used to have to go into settings for in Mail. Now they just made it a little bit easier to do. Beyond that, again, something else that was still present in actually Beta 1, that was the ability to look at your Apple Care and warranty information if you wanted to see how everything was with that. It gave you a little new banner, but nothing still crazy there. Nothing even worth warranting to look at unless that's something you really check daily. But just keep that in mind as well. The back tap as well, if you just triple tap, you can see It said back tap detected and took us back around. That banner was new. It still looks junky, still here in the same manner. No new UI fix for that here. There was a change for the home controls and control panel. You can actually add a new one in here. I'll show you that really quick if you utilize these as well. If you wanted to add a control here and just type in home, there's a new 4-icon grid here to give you a little bit of a higher level look here if you wanted. But yeah, as we're in the second beta and as we're so close now to being into iOS 19 territory, I'm not anticipating anything new. Some more UI tweaks and performance improvements on the back end is probably all we'll be seeing. Now, as far as release schedule goes, this week could be pretty interesting. The 15th is tomorrow, and I am fully assuming we will see 18.4.1 anytime now, and I would guess since this beta dropped today, we will get the public release of 18.4.1 on the 15th. Tomorrow, if not at some point this week, is pretty much a guarantee, especially with all those issues that have been announced and said. If Apple delays that anymore, it would be crazy on their part. And now, since we are past the 2-week beta cycle of beta 1, we should consistently see a beta every week after until release, probably in May sometime. So, we just received beta 2 on the 14th. I would assume we should see beta 3 on the 21st, beta 4 on the 28th, and possibly an RC around the 5th, just depending on how well these betas end up doing. The 12th at the latest would be my guess. And then, like we said, obviously, come June, it's almost here already. WWDC starts on the 9th, and we will receive the first beta of iOS 19 in there. So yeah, not much new in this build. Performance improvements, stability improvements on the back end, but that's all you can really anticipate seeing and getting in this beta. Nothing to hop on if you're kind of on the fence with how shaky Apple software's been. Don't need to jump into it. We'll do a follow-up video with battery life and performance and any other features we might have missed, but for now, yeah, iOS 18.5 Beta 2 is out. Go grab it if you're a registered developer. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.